Northwood uses a huge second quarter to completely dominate Lake Erie in a 52-7 win at home in a game that Northwood just started fast from the very beginning. They had a touchdown from Ethan Hamby, and then they completely opened it up in the second quarter, end up having a 45-yard field goal from Drew Cady, a great field goal from him. And then after that, it was just all Northwood in the second quarter. Trent Hill with a touchdown run, a touchdown pass from Ethan Hamby to Lake Boost, another touchdown pass from Ethan Hamby to Sam Dersha. At that point, you had Northwood up 31-0, and it was completely over at this point. There's a reason why this game was a 52-7 win for Northwood. Northwood just did whatever they wanted to offensively. 411 yards total, 282 yards through the air, 129 yards on the ground. Only gave up 176 yards offensively for Lake Erie when it comes to this Northwood defense. I've talked a lot about this Northwood defense. I've talked a lot about this Northwood offense. This is a team that's playing extremely well right now. Offensively, defensively, things are truly starting to click. Ethan Hamby, if you want to talk about a guy that was almost perfect in this game, 20 for 21, 224 yards, 4 touchdowns. You cannot get any better than that for the most part. Paul Seeley, 6 for 7, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. They went 26 for 28 throwing the ball. That's just how efficient they were. And it wasn't even just short passes every single time. Like, the longest pass was a 47-yard pass. Like, this is an offense that when you have this efficient of an offense, when you can throw this ball efficiently, obviously you're not going to have this type of game. But to have 2 incompletions on 28 attempts, that in itself should speak volumes of how this game went. Like, Lake Erie could not do anything offensively. Devin Brown did have only 38 yards rushing. Ethan Hamby had 26. There wasn't a ton of guys that, like, stood out for, like, amount of yardages, amount of receptions, amount of carries that they had in this game. But it was truly about getting every single player involved that play. Sam Dersha, 3 receptions, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Mitch Riverd, 3 receptions, 61 yards, no touchdown. Lake Boost, 4 receptions, 31 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hudson Gersicker, 2 receptions, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. Case Boost, 4 reception. Devin Brown, 3 reception. Carter Minks, 2 reception. Luke Woodkay, 2 receptions, 1 touchdown. Like, you are getting every single guy involved for the most part. And that's what happens when you obviously win a game 52-7. Now, obviously, that's offense. Defense just continued to dominate for the most part. This is a defense that just flies around. I've talked enough about these guys. Probably need to talk even more. Like Cole Simpson, again, 1.5 sacks in this game, 8 total tackles. You had a guy in Jalen Pritchford, 1 sack for 6 yards, 3 total tackles for loss. They didn't have any interceptions in this game, but you didn't need to have any interceptions in this game just because they couldn't get anything going offensively. They couldn't throw the ball very well either. Like, if you look at just what Lake Erie was able to do throwing the ball, they were somewhat efficient throwing the ball. They only threw the ball 9 times in this game, 7 for 9 for 61 yards. That is just not good enough to win a game. That's the main reason why I've talked a lot about the secondary. I think the secondary is fantastic. This secondary has not given up very much whatsoever, but obviously this Lake Erie team really wanted to try to get the run game going. They weren't able to really do that very much. Now, Nick Mosley was able to get a little bit going, averaged 5 yards per carry. But outside of that, like, just nothing was going on for this Lake Erie team. And even defensively, like, you look at what they had no sacks in this game whatsoever. Like, Ethan Hamby, Paul Seeley, they were able to stay protected back there, like, over and over and over. They wasn't able to get anything done. There's not a ton more to talk about. Like, this is just absolute domination from the start. Offensively, defensively, this Northwood team did whatever they wanted to do, and they're taking care of teams that they should beat convincingly. And that's exactly what they did in this game. That's exactly what Coach B and this coaching staff continues to do. They have these guys playing hard against teams that just aren't as great as them. This is a Lake Erie team that hasn't been great this year. This Northwood team has been great this year. They're going to continue to be that way. They're continuing momentum, and now their schedule gets a little bit harder. Like these last 2 games for Northwood have been pretty comfortable, dominant wins. Now it's about continuing that momentum. It's continuing what they're doing offensively. I think this defense is going to continue to do what they do defensively. I think this is just a team that is performing extremely well at the right time. I think it's a team that is extremely talented. I think it's a team that truly buys into what this coach staff, what this culture is, and it's fun watching this Northwood team fly around. And there's a reason why this Northwood team currently is 5-1 on the year. This Northwood team is, in my opinion, I've talked a lot about, they're legit. They're going to continue to be legit. There's a reason why they were picked in the upper half of the GMAC. I think they're going to continue to be that way. And they have Hillsdale next week, Kentucky Wesleyan, and then you have Findlay, Tiffin, and Walsh to end the season. Things aren't going to get any easier, especially those last games, but you have an opportunity to continue to do what you need to do. They're playing very well right now. They're going to continue to hopefully have that momentum continue to go forward. And if they do, I think this Northwood team is going to get several more wins before the end of the year. I think there's a real possibility that they have a chance to compete for the GMAC. They're currently right there right now. They did have a tough loss against Ashland, but they're doing what they need to do, and that's the most important part. So, yeah, really good win for Northwood. Obviously not a ton to talk about just when you have that type of domination, but it truly was that second quarter that got Northwood out to a big lead, and they did not look back after that. So if you enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, really enjoy talking about Northwood. I've talked a lot about Northwood the last couple of weeks. I'll continue to do so. I think they're a really fun team. I think offensively, defensively, they got things going there. So really excited to see what they do in these next couple of weeks. Definitely will talk more about them as well. But yeah, good win for Northwood. Good luck in the next couple of weeks as well. But yeah, that is really it for this preview. I'll talk more about them next week. But good win for Northwood, and they now advance to 5-1 on the year.